Oh, yay. Here we are. Hi, babe. Hi.
How are you liking Santa Fe?
I am up in Embudo, which I haven't spent much time in Santa Fe since I've been here, because I've been getting myself settled, which has been a lovely time. Um,
I
I'm
imagine.
unpacked. I am unstoraged. I did a beautiful ritual where everything got to be on my patio and nothing got to come in that wasn't coming forward in life. So there was
Mm,
this beautiful being with the things. Hi,
mm.
Jonah. Hi, Nancy. So I've been being with the things, I've just packed my car um, full of I used to be Queen Christmas. I used to have the Macy's tree. I used to be the place that everybody would go to see the villages and the this and the that. I had 4 children. It was like part of the joy of being around them. And I'm giving it all away. I haven't put it up in a couple of years. It doesn't really matter so much to me anymore.
I'm the same.
之类
And
的，最终还是得解决自己最原始
so
的
it's
问题。你让自己吃
incredibly,
饱了，你就不会抱
oh,
怨对
thank
方
you,
的菜
Jonah.
难吃或对方烧的不够。
I'm going to
感谢
find
收听。
Nancy. Here we go. And we are going to mute her. There we go. Okay. And so this process and this beautiful and this Uranus opposition, this shedding and this and what gets the step forward and what gets to be left and who am I really kind of thing has been happening. And so that's what I've been in the midst of. And at the same time, surrounded by these beautiful mountains that act like these sentries that I just keep looking out. And then the river on this side that all I have to do is listen for that ionic healing, and I have it. And so I'm really grateful for the place and space I find myself in. Thank you for asking.
Oh, it's awesome. I love hearing that. That's really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh my gosh. Welcome, everybody. How have you been, Janica and Abe? Or as I like to funnily call you, Annika and Jabe.
I like that.
Yeah, so
You,
Jabe is the one we get.
Jabe.
Jabe, this is how I have you saved in my phone is Annika and Jabe, because every time I say your name to Richard, this is how it comes out. Annika and
I
Jabe.
love it. I love it.
That's awesome.
I am dealing with sinus pressure headaches, so I've had a rough day, and I
Mm.
almost went and laid down, and then I'm like, no, I'm gonna try to attend. So we'll see how long I last, but we both wanted to see what you were.
We're doing great. We are just south of Cancun, about an hour south of Cancun. We are enjoying the ocean and our time being very deliberate with our health and setting some great habits. Now that it's just Janie and I for a month, which is very rare for us to have any kind of serious or long-term time, just us. I think it's the first time we've ever had this long, and we were only at 3 weeks almost. So it's wonderful, great experience. And really love what's going on in Signpost. I was just saying that earlier to Janie, and it's cool to see your name as one of the contributors.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Thank you for that. And how exciting where you are. Richard and I are going for New Year's. We're going to be in La Paz and in that area there. So we're looking forward to that as well.
Cool.
So
yeah.
Thanks for being here. And we were just on a hike up the canyon as right before I came here, and I decided to do a little something different than what I had planned, only if the people that have come have not brought their homework from last time, which my intuition says maybe that didn't happen. So I've got something else planned, guys. It's okay, no pressure. Oh, beautiful. Welcome, Jonah. Welcome, Pockets and Mary. And I think Ricky's here. Let's see, Nancy, beautiful Nancy. Oh, and welcome, Janica's Fathom note taker.
Thank you.
And Jade.
This is my first time attending one of your sessions. So can you give us like a 10 peso version of what do we cover here?
Absolutely. And thank you also for asking. You are Johnny on the spot with these questions today, because it's been evolving. And as I was just walking through the canyon, it kind of evolved. It birthed a little something new. And so what what I desired this space to be was a space where we could meet twice a month. And in one part of the month, we could do some kind of yang workshop exercise. And then in the next part, the homework for the next 2 weeks is going to be being in the yin of whatever that concept was, that we brought to the table, so that we can have some embodiment practices of that knowledge or mechanic or whatever it was. And this is still my aim. This is always my aim. But what I noticed is that that's just the structure or the engineering of what I'm doing. What is actually happening, and where my heart is and where my passion is and where my skill is, for that matter, is in relation dynamics, while evolving, individuated relationship dynamics, whether it be the relationships in the boardroom or in the bedroom. I'm really good at being able to navigate individuation in all of those realms, conscious, individuated, loving experiences in those realms. And Pockets is here and Mary is here, and we've both worked together, and this is some of the work that we do in when we work together in the family constellations that we work within.
You do
And
constellation work?
I do, but it's not what you think, constellation.
Okay,
I'm
cool.
I'm not lining up, well, not what you think. How do I know what you think? I don't know. But what some people think family constellation, or what I've just been very shockingly told, that I don't do family constellation, even though that's what I call it. So sometimes people
Okay,
think
that's
that,
cool.
yeah,
That's cool. No, that's
but
wonderful.
it's like that. But it's like
So
that. It's without the physicality of it.
awesome.
Okay, cool.
I do
Mhm.
like, I want to point out that Brandy summarized all relationships as two. It's either in the bedroom or we're in the boardroom, but there's nothing in the middle. And I like that. I like that about you. That's awesome. Just joking. So the second thing is can I expect that we can learn about codependency in these conversations?
Oh, that's beautiful. Yes, you can expect to learn about whatever it is that is alive for you, because what's alive in you then becomes alive in me. And this is where this transmutation and transmission and being able to feel you and see what's needed and then offer a different perspective. This is the beauty of my design. And so
Cool.
whatever is alive in you is really what we'll talk about. I will always come to the table with a structure or a framework, but what I know to be true always is that what's alive in the field is what comes up. And so as long as we are attuned to being present with each other, and this is one of the reasons, and it may be antiquated and old fashioned, but I'd really like for us all to be able to see each other as best as possible, or be connected and attuned with each other as best as possible. Because what I know is conscious relationships are about presence. That is the very first step in relating consciously with anyone, is arriving in the same field with them. And so as long as we arrive in the same field, what is alive there is what will be alive in all of us, through the beauty of our individual designs and the outer authority that we bring to the table while we're working through our own personal mythologies. What I believe to be true is that when we get together in places like this, our compost becomes the other person's feed, right? This is the way everything in the universe works, is that when I am able to have presence held for me and alchemize something that is alive but not true in my system, that brings me to this newer level. Now I have compost of being able to deal with it. When that was witnessed, everyone is fed. Everyone is fed. And we all have gotten something for ourselves through that holding presence for the other. And so really, this is a space for that.
That's super cool. I'm super happy we're here.
Awesome.
I'm happy you're here too.
Jabe approves.
Jabe approved, Jonah. This should be like a little something. Jabe approved.
Have you guys seen this like thumbs up things that happen on Zoom sometimes? If you do like certain things, you
Yeah.
get bubbles, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
If you
we make
turn on the recognize hand gesture, I don't have it turned on.
so I just look like a dummy. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Oh, so welcome, welcome, welcome. I would love for all of us to maybe pour in and arrive in the circle and attune with one another by just, 2 or 3 words. What is alive in you right now? If you could tap in to the body in which you inhabit, what would be alive in there if it had language? For me, the language that came was horse hooves. That's what's alive in me. That's what it feels like, that.
Mine is fullness. I feel very full. Like, I think I live in this life of my glasses half full all the time, and I'm always in the silver lining of things. And right now I'm really feeling that. And every morning and at lunch and in the evening going out to watch the waves, and some days it's flat like a lake and other days it's crazy and tumultuous and everything in between. So I feel this like, and every time I walk out there and see the ocean, I just feel my whole being just fill up, and it's just like, wow, it's so powerful. I feel powerful with it. And so that's where I'm even feeling the pressure, the headaches right now. It's still that amazingness.
Thank you for letting that overflow upon us all. Jabe. Pardon me, Jabe. Jonah says in the chat, I've been talking a lot about G-center and ego lately. The defined ego, like the cat who bites if it's petted the wrong way. The G-center raising the bar. And the 2551 is what connects the ego to a higher power and opens the heart. I'm noticing defined ego and G people have a sort of conflict or dilemma between the two, wanting to stand up for yourself, but also wanting to raise the bar and act with forgiveness and love. And then I'm noticing defined ego and undefined G as having the possibility of having a stone heart, the heart that is not open to universal love. James Alexander is staying with me now, so we have a lot of great conversations. He has a defined ego and a defined G, so this has come up for hi. So this has come up for Jonah.
The heart is not into universal love. Oh, that's interesting. I totally relate to defined ego and undefined G separate, opposite of that.
The stone heart, the heart that is not open to universal love.
Yeah, but from my own perspective, of course, I'm only speaking
Right.
to my, I don't study like you guys do, but
yeah.
I actually think I feel a lot.
Oh, and I can relate completely to this. I do have a defined G and a defined ego. I do have 51 defined twice with no 25. And so what you said, Jonah, here, the wanting to stand up for yourself, but also wanting to raise the bar and act with forgiveness and love. This is if I am on a balancing beam of nervous system regulation, this is it every day is, wait, what are my boundaries? Ooh, membranes. What are boundaries and membranes? I have this thing that I ask to myself, is this a boundary or a membrane? Like, can something get through? Am I okay with this for love's sake? Or do I have to be Kali for love's sake? That is always a balance. Beautifully. Jonah says, yes, let's see. And with to Abe's comment, and with the right defined G people to guide them, can have the most open hearts. So yeah, it reminds me, I heard Ra in my head go, or not. And then Jonah goes on to say, yes, ego and G, what's the balance? Is it a boundary or a membrane? Yeah, great way of putting it. Thank you. Yeah, that's always the balance is, fuck, I'm bright. Oh, but I want to be in this relationship. Right's not worth it. The heart, for me lately in this Uranus opposition, the heart wins every time. The heart has planted her cross for sure. And this is what I aim, the aim is, the G raises the bar for sure. Thank you for that sharing, Jonah. Abe, do you feel to share? I'll go in the order of how I see it on the screen.
She asking me? Did you ask me? I'm
Yes.
sorry.
Do you feel to share? What's
Oh,
alive in you? You know, if you could tap in there and it could have some language and some words,
she
what would
said,
it
don't say
say?
anything naughty.
You can say things naughty. Don't listen to her. Say whatever you want.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It's amazing. Well, yeah, I'm not appreciating Janie's pressure headaches. I can tell you that.
Oh,
That's the illusion of naughty.
I got it. Yeah, thanks for that.
I have been just really, I don't study human design to say like all the time, like read the books. I have read the white book and the black book, and I get all this like via reverse osmosis that happens by being in these things and Janie, so to kind of flavor that bit of the conversation. Or I'm just really interested in how it's so applicable in a daily life and what I can do with the design and learning about myself and others.
yeah.
And then also I have been studying Stoicism, Buddhism, other things that I lend to my spirituality. And I think there's a really cool interface between the harshness of the design conversations and the transcendence of the spirituality part. And I'm playing and dancing in that space a lot. And I just started a meditation practice that has been really cool for me, and a lot of time to contemplate that we have here, which is really wonderful and helps. And then Janie and I were just both inspired almost on the same minute to talk about reading the gene keys. So we just dived into what the sun was in 2 days ago, I think it was.
14.
Yeah, 14. So it was really cool because I started to see all the things about the 14 kind of energy. And I think it's so important that we all remember, and I'm talking to myself, but I'll say for myself, and maybe it applies to you, is like, it's so important for me to remember that all aspects of the 64 gates, lines, tones, all the shit, like it all is available to us and we experience all of it. And we never experience our birth chart ever, because we're always in some kind of transit or some kind of composite situation. And so it's really interesting going back and looking at the different ones. I don't have the 14, but I do know the 14 in compromise. I've done
very
that.
well.
You know, and actually really recently in my life, in the last few years, 4 or 5 years, I've really started to not compromise. And I more so in the last 4, and accelerating as it exponentially gets less and less compromise on the core of who I am, which design helps me understand a bit of why Open G Center is really helpful to have the mirrors and all the conversations for myself. And it's just awesome. Like, it's just so cool to experience that and experience myself in that. And then looking at the gene key and then like, holy shit, like, oh my God, this played out today. Like,
yeah.
Yesterday we got off the book, or we got out of our thing, and then we had a conversation with somebody, and I was like, oh my God, like right here, like
it's happening right now. It's alive right now. Yeah.
Right now. So that's what's with me. So this is super great conversation, because it's this openness and flow of how the space you're holding is really awesome for growth. And I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you for that recognition. And I love what you said. And what I'm about to say might be a little heretical. It might not be at all.
I love heretical.
But what I want to say is that human design is the raft and not the shore. And so once you understand that you are 67 trillion vibrating particles of light, that we could say God, universe, source, neutrons, you can call it whatever you want. We are vibrating particles of light that are only limited by the biology in which we inhabit. And so when we start to understand and get behind and within the biology that we inhabit, then we can, I'm not saying that we can change things. I mean, I understand the no choice of the biology, but we can perceive things in a way that collapses a different wave function. We can perceive things that allow surrender to the present moment and a compassionate, wide fucking open heart in every single second, when we become the alchemists of how we perceive the world around us in a complete surrendered state. And so human design is such a beautiful biological engineering blueprint plan for us to remember that we live in a building, but that we are just the energy in the building. And so what do we do in the building? We experience what's there, but we thought we had to be doing shit. And so we
I love
haven't
this.
experienced it. And so
Yes.
I think that once we understand our design, when I say understand, that's just only because words are limited. But what I mean is when we inhabit and embody and what effervesce our design, right? It's not something we're doing. It is something that is being done through us, that the purpose of our being, energy and form, is effervescing through our bodies. This is when we can start being the alchemist of what we see. We're not trying to be ourselves. We're just allowing ourselves to be through the biology. And I think human design is a great tool. But something else that you mentioned that I also have found a great synthesis tool is the gene keys. And I know that there is an interesting, dynamic in our communities about human design and the gene keys, and about the differences and the pros and cons to both of them. And I like to take a non-dual perspective to understand that paradox always has to be here and alive in order for anything to be true. So yes, we have to have the this and the that of both of it. I believe that human design is the structure and gene keys is the essence, that human design is the girders and the steel and the roof and the floor, and gene keys is the laughter and the crying and the orgasms and the, it's all the rest of it. And so I think that they marry each other beautifully in the feminine and masculine when we can see. And I love that you've joined us here today, because I'm going to talk about what I really want to talk about is I want us to look at our design moon and earth placements, because I want to come into relationship with what our purpose is, what our anchoring is in relationships. What is it that we are here? What can be the thing that we mount our flag in that says, okay, this is what I'm here to do when I've lost sight of all else in relationships? And then when I see that, what am I going to see next? So I believe that human design and the gene keys and all of these tools are just sight tools. They're glasses that we can put on that help us see something in some kind of way. And so I want to help you. I want you to put on these glasses for yourself so that you can see what the codes behind this biological vessel that you inhabit are trying to do for, with, and to you. And so this is one of the very first ones that we can almost always see. Everybody can almost always see this one. So thank you for being here. And it was beautiful of your intuitions to want to come and spend time in the space. And thank you for lending your brilliance and your experience and, what you guys are doing together as a couple, because I think it's also important to see that. Because it does take one of us to change the frequency of the room. And that's it. So even if we are in relationships with people who don't value our evolutionary tools that we bring to the table, like human design, and that's what we were talking about 2 weeks ago, I was giving a tool called creating containers. And this creation of containers is a tool that I developed just quickly, a tool that I developed when I was trying to change who I was. I used to be blackout Brandy, and now I'm me. And so how do I go with my beloveds that have known me my whole life, from this little bee bear to this blackout Brandy to this, who I am now, without conflict and contrast and terrible, like the black sheep goes away and never talks to family again. That's unacceptable to me. And so I developed these tools to help me integrate with the world around me. And I called them containers, because I wanted to create a container for change that we could both arrive in with some agreements so that we can see each other in trust and love and establish a new foundation of who we are for each other. So I think that tool is going to show itself again later. But what I'd like to do now, again, is to go through those two placements. So while I ask Mary and Pockets and whoever else would like to share what's alive in them in just a few words, if everybody could pull out their charts and see what their design or unconscious earth and moon placements are. There it is. Mary, do you feel to share quickly?
Yeah, so I'll kind of just say where I'm at. I got to spend the most of the day with my 90-year-old father, And and the relationship has changed over time because, of course, he's got memory problems. So every moment is new for him. And the next moment, we ended up going through a drive-through to get some dinner, and he paid for the dinner because he wanted to. And then, later on, he's like, how much was it? I'll make sure I'll pay you back. I'm like, Dad, you paid for the dinner, remember? Oh, remember you have $1 left in your wallet? Anyways, too much information. But I have this brother that is living with him, taking care of him, that hates me. And so walking into that space and trying to not give a shit about this energy that's coming at me. And like, I got to take my dad out of that energy. And even though we just drove, for 3 hours around, and, there's not very much conversation or anything like that. So I'm feeling a little melancholy around that, but also grateful, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
And my earth is 30.2, 30 in the second line. And my moon is 24 in the first line.
Okay, we'll get to you there. Deep moon. Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing where you are. And I'm, I have compassion definitely in my heart for those of us who gets to take care of our aging parents. Let's talk about creating containers for change where only one of us gets to be the strongest frequency in the room, huh?
Yeah.
This person is becoming a completely different human being, and you are the one that gets to hold the frequency for the both of you, just like when he held the frequency for the both of you when you needed it.
So true.
Yeah. So welcome to the space.
Thank you.
Thanks for being here.
I'm glad to be here.
Pockets, do you feel to share?
Yes, hi.
Hi.
I had a very melancholy week for me, mostly around work. And I think 14 being in the transits has been part of that. Also, my birthday was Sunday, and my kid made me cake. That was really, really lovely.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. But the melancholy has been heavy with the work. So I've just been kind of like observing it and just, well, okay, this is where I'm at. I've drawn a little bit and stuff, but today the only word that came to me was grateful. I think I'm just grateful to be here. Grateful for, maybe that's also Thanksgiving in the air, has that gratitude feeling with it. So yeah, I'm just feeling grateful. A little bit of tears are in there somewhere. I don't really know where they're from, but they're there. They want to come out. They might. I don't know. We'll see.
Good.
My Earth is Design Earth 30.6, and Design Moon is 8.5. Yeah. Lovely to see y'all.
Yay. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having this.
Yay. And thanks for sharing that tears are there without creating a story. That's a powerful thing to do and role model for all of us. Yay. Thanks for that. 30 and 8. Oh, we got 230 design Earths, and Jonah shares 58. Oh, I love the way you keynoted it. I'm excited to play with those back and forth in this Dharma dance that we're about to do here. Ricky or Nancy or Marissa, I wanted to make sure to acknowledge you and hold space if you'd like to share what's alive in you. And if not, that's fine too. Oh, Marissa, 61 Design Earth, 50 in line 1, Design Moon. I love the cauldron. Okay, so we will move forward. And because this just came to me on the trail, I do not have a graphic made. So we are going to, I don't want to get us all sidetracked, but I'm going to show you the Gene Keys profile. And we don't have to use this Gene Keys profile, but the reason I'm going to show you is because it's really easy to see the dance. Oops. That was just lens chart. Okay. Oh, this is not the right one. Go back. Okay. So what we're going to be looking at right now is not the entire chart. The entire chart we could get to over time, or there's lots of ways that you can look at this that we can talk about later. But right now, what I wanted to bring to this table was the very first part of what the Gene Keys calls your Venus sequence. And let me change here my view if I can. Okay, I think that'll work. All right. So what we want to talk about, I'm going to give mine as an example so that we can then take a look at you guys's, and each one of you I'd love to take a look at, and maybe we could share the screen or whatever, or we could just talk about it together. But so I want to just orient you first. This purpose is your design earth. This is the fulcrum of what the Gene Keys calls your activation sequence. And your activation sequence are going to be the first four, your incarnation cross. So my incarnation cross is 24, 44, and 13 and 7. And so as a matter of my incarnation cross, and we'll get into this later, but my life's work, my whole life, I call it the Pinocchio story of my life. You know, the story of Pinocchio was all about lying and finding friends and things, but really the whole life's work of Pinocchio was to learn the value of truth. It was the complete opposite. And so my Pinocchio story is 24. So that's what I call our life's work. Evolution is the thing that will anchor that Pinocchio story in the world. Radiance is what happens when I'm able to allow the personality to express itself authentically. I'm able to then feel into the body in a deeper way. And I'm a listener. So this is what comes from, this is part of my incarnation cross. This is what my body does as a consequence of my personality being who she bees. My body is the listener. And because my body is the listener, the fulcrum, the purpose of this activation sequence is guidance, is leadership. I'm 7 in the second line. So the keynote in human design is the Democrat. And so this energy is about the whole purpose of my being the individual expression of a concept that may have been unknown before, that is able to serve and be anchored within a team, using my intuition to know who to transmute that message to, allows me to fall into my body and listen and guide. And now that I am the me that I am, we move into the Venus sequence. And the reason that I like to start here is because this is the thing that causes or can cause the greatest breakthrough, I believe, in our becoming and our relating. And this, if we've all attended Richard's transit forecast, we all know that these last 6 months have been really asking for our individuated self in relationships. And so this is what we've all been focused on. There's been some melancholy about who do we be in the world and in relationships, and what is our spirit here. And so I wanted to offer this as a gift or a tool or a reprieve, so that you can remember how and who and what you are. And so let me give you how this helps me. Is my purpose in relationships is orientation. And if we just use those two words, this relationship between your purpose and your attraction, or your design earth and your design moon, this relationship is what they call Dharma. Who knows what Dharma is? Okay, Dharma is the stories that are told, the stories that are contained within the Tao. This is the stories, the what is attracted to you. This is the I call it the benevolent gift from our Creator, is always sending us relationships or experiences that allow us to experience and realize our purpose. The universe is always sending us these things, and so this sphere, this attraction sphere, is what is being sent to me. Every relationship, space, and place is asking for my unity, my orientation. Gate 2 is the most yin of all of the gates. This is about flow. This is about every river and tributary coming together to create the ocean, and the vision that the ocean brings, that the tributary or the river or the creek could never have known. This is the larger vision, and how I orient, or the fulcrum, is virtue. 7 to me is not only the alpha, but it is the alpha through virtuous behavior. It is the virtuous goer of a certain way that allows others to come with. So if I played with my 2 keys, I would say that every relationship, space, and place that comes to me is asking for virtue. And when I can anchor virtuous behavior in whatever it is that I'm attracting, whether it be what I perceive as chaos or not, when I can be my virtuous self, my purpose of being energy in form right now is to bring virtue to each and every plane in which I inhabit. And my dharma is to have things that are not within the flow, chaos or flow, and to find virtue within both. This is my story. Now I'd like to take this out of my story and tell someone else's. So let me tell Jonah's real fast, because I love the way that he keynoted it. Yes, thank you, Jonah, for outlining that personality sun, personality earth, design sun, design earth. Thank you. I wasn't very clear there. Okay, so if we did Jonah's, okay, so his design earth, the fulcrum, the thing that his entire chart rests upon, the thing that he can anchor himself into in relating and in purpose, the thing that gets expressed when he is anchored within the experiences of his life, is the love of life, the appreciation of beauty and wonder in the world, energy fueling the love of life. This is purely accessible to you when you are anchored in the truth of your design, when that earth placement, and this is who you are and what you are in relationships. So if you are in relationship spaces and places in which the love of life is not effervescing from your vehicle, this may be a place or space or relationship in which you've entered with your mind and not the vessel, because the vessel is here to have these experiences and to anchor for all of us the love of life, because it's a first line. So you're building this foundation. So, what is the love of life here? And so you're coming in and out of relationships to have that experience. And the relationships that are coming to you are challenging you, asking you, inviting you to find the love of life in all of it by using covert interaction. Are you using secret covert means to fuel ambition? Or are you recognizing, this is the I Ching, so this is the Rave I Ching, so this is the, I really love to, I'm making the beaching because I really love the more exalted expression. And I know that we can choose either way, but fuck, if I can choose, let me choose something good. So when I look at this and I see, not that this isn't good and not that this isn't perfectly right for the story of Jonah, being that using secret covert means to fuel ambition, but we get to perceive that as positive, and we get to perceive that as him being able to, using secret covert means to fuel ambition, which I know 54, when I've experienced the 54 in the third line, it's almost like we both bump into what is good together. Like I didn't even know it until I figured out that you wanted me for something else. I didn't even know I was good at that thing. So it's almost like an elevation of both of us when that experience of coming together in that secret covert means, like, we can perceive it as something that is positive and reinforcing the ambition of the field, because we know that Jonah moves with his body into the places and spaces that are for him. So the secrecy and the covert means that he uses to fuel ambition is the thing for all of us, and is the proper use of him. Look, listen to me. Not like we're using you or anything, but okay, let's see. What did you say? Jonah said, yes, people ask my why I like past lives. Okay, ask me why I like past lives. It's because that enhances my love of life and the appreciation of wonder and beauty. 54, 1, 2, 3 are all kind of secretive though. 54, 2 is discretion. 54, 1 is secret relationships. And in regards to 58, line 1. So then we'll move, oh, puppy dog energy, 58, line 1. Okay, so then let me get to that. So then we've just talked about that. So that love of life, so when we know that when Jonah is, anybody who loves Jonah knows what being Jonah means. It's like, when Jonah's being Jonah, he is looking for the love of life. He is this it? Is this it? Is this it? And it's like this experience of, and then he brings it all together so that we all can be better together, because we all need to know this thing. This is how he gets anchored in the love of life and relating. I think you shared some more. Yes, and love of life. Yes, loud R&B music on here, so I can't use the mic yet. So this is how, so if we are taking this into actual relationships, we want to hold ourselves in the highest exaltation as well, because here's what I know to be true is that what we put our eyes on is what expands around us. And so I want to spend maybe 10% in our shadow just so that our mind has awareness of it. But I want to spend the rest of the time in the exaltation, because when we continue to see what the exaltation sees, we become more effervescent of that as well. If we want to, if it's right for your body, if it's appropriate for you. I always come back to that paradox. Okay, is Marissa still here? She is. Okay, so Design Earth 61.4. This is inner truth. This is how you anchor yourself in relating. In most relationships, you're probably, especially with 50. So these are the two together are such beautiful togetherness. Like 50 in the first line, the cauldron is what do we put in the soup that is healthy for us all to eat? And so how you do that when you come into new relationships, the Dharma that's between the purpose and the attraction. So the purpose in your relationships is inner truth. The thing that's coming in and around is the immigrant. Is this healthy? Is this not healthy? Is this the thing that we can build our foundation upon that will defend us into the future? And so every relationship that is coming to you is, and I mean, I'm not going to talk about the conjunctions only because really I don't think I'm good enough yet to do that. So we'll leave that to Richard. But I know that the design moon or Jonah, if he has any insight, because I know he's very versed in this as well. But what I could say is the design moon is that there are constantly probably people, places, things that you have this sense of, are they healthy? Are they healthy? Are they healthy? And the anchoring is in the research or the understanding, the question asking, the full information gathering of what it is that you might not know about that person. So with you, it's like this 20 questions. It's about really anchoring and really getting to know people. You are here to bring what is not known, the parts and pieces of it that are healthy for us to be moved forward into form through relationships in this dharmic dance between the two of you. Resonates so much, Marissa says. Thank you for sharing that. And so I'd love to invite, I know I'm going over it very quickly, but I'd love to invite you to spend some time in contemplation. And contemplation is not meditation. It's not taking your thoughts out. Contemplation is not, I'm going to write about this thing. No, give your mind a little sentence or a little word or a little something and just see where it goes. This is contemplation. Your mind, once they receive these codes, knows exactly where to send you if you stay out of the way. So I'd invite you to contemplate these numbers and read them in your human design, your Ravi Ching, and your Gene Keys. Watch people talk about them. Go whatever to your source that you trust is, and really contemplate this energy in your relationships and use this as a tool. Your purpose, that earth, that design earth, is the anchoring. It's the thing that your mind can use as food when it's unsure if it followed its body, its proper authority or strategy into this relationship, place, or thing. That purpose, when you feel that ability to access that anchoring fulcrum, that is your mind's like, oh yeah, we're here because our body brought us here. And this helps the mind sink into the body so that you can arrive there and be fully as you are. All right. So, dear Annika, design Earth 10-3. Oh, Moon, either 57 or 50, or excuse me, 37 or 50. Why is it either?
It's a story.
Oh, okay, okay. Which one do you want to go
Everything
with?
extra with her, so.
I love all of the extraness. Read all about it.
Let's do the 55 right now.
Yeah, that
Okay.
resonates a lot more.
No, the 37 resonates.
Oh,
more,
the 37.
but
Never mind.
I want to look at the 55.
Okay. Okay. So the 55 and then the 10. So the 55 and then the 10. I'm saying this so that I can get into it. Here we go. Your design Earth, the fulcrum, the behavior, the higher behavior of self is the martyr, is the, I don't love the word martyr, but I know that that's the keynote we know, but it is the explorer, it is the experimenter, it is the edge pusher, it is the evolver, it is the thing that moves us forward into the next what's next. And so your highest behavior of self, your G-center direction of behavior is about how can this be pushed further? How can I make it different or see what's wrong? But that's a given when you want to push it further, right? When you want to, I think that next step isn't always taken. It's always talked about as we did it wrong or we bumped into it. But then what happens after? Well, you go fucking past it is what happens. And you make something new, or you bring something new, or at least the possibility of anchoring something new in the next trigram, right? It's not always brought here, but it's the possibility of it being here. And so your behavior, your anchoring, your fulcrum, your design Earth, the thing that you rest within, mine, if I can access it, is virtue. Yours is expansion. If we want to use that word, whatever word you want to use about being the expander, being the one that pushes the edges and says back, hey, y'all, I pushed the edge. You want to come? If you don't, I don't care, but you want to come. Like, this is I'm going to tell you about it, but I'm going to go there. And 55, if we played with 55, especially in the 6th line, we're talking about in the shadow, we're talking about being the victim of not being able to be yourself. These two play so beautifully together. They are part of a really powerful connection, I believe, in the way that spirit is able to anchor itself through the G center on the plane. It is the highest expression. And in the 6th line, of course, it's, I don't remember its keynote. I'm sure Jonah does, but did you say it? I didn't hear you. Selfishness. Okay, selfishness. So, gosh, this plays together. What I just saw was the number 6 and a dash and a 3 pushing a wall. There's my inner vision. And so the way that I express that is that your this 3 and this 6, this 10th line, a key of the new era post 2027. It is the key to the lock of being the martyr of myself in divine selfishness. 55-6 is divine selfishness because it's selfishness of the spirit. It is the, and when I say spirit, I mean that 67 trillion vibrating particles of light that we started with. It's the pure effervescence of that is 55-6. We can make it beautiful and divine and talk all kinds of fluffy stories about it. And we can talk about the moody, the sharpness, we could talk about all of those things with it. But really what it is the true expression of the energy that inhabits your biology in the moment right now, despite any circumstance around you. And 10 in the third line is pushing the edges of what is here around you to be the 55-6 here in the space. No, I can't be 55-6 here, and here's why. You're pushing the edges as a 10-3. So, okay, so if we looked back at the numbers, the earth is, are you being who you be in the space? You know, because the 55 is going to show you, it's the Dharma. It's going to show you what 10-3 is. 55, like the dare to be you is going to invite that 10 in the third line. That's the Dharma play between those two numbers. So everything, place, space, and relationship is almost like a dare to be you, dare to express. And so you, as the 10 in the third line, get to anchor yourself, right, in the space by making more room. If you will, right? Yeah. Pushing the edges and saying, well, I fit here. I know my 55-6 may not fit there and there and there and there and there, but watch me move this wall because that's where I fit. Yeah. And so in all relationships, places and spaces, that's the anchoring. That's why your energy is in this biology. If we used, well, we're using 10-3 is to anchor yourself expandedly as yourself. You know, I know I keep using these same words over and over again, but English is so limited.
Oh, I get it. Yeah, that's very much my life. Yep.
Yeah. Yay. Okay, so then who's we could, let me go to
did I put apes in there for you? I did.
Let's see, did you? Yep. Okay, here we go. Doom, doom, doom. Okay, Abe. 32 and 48, and then we'll go to Mary Ann's pockets, unless anybody has to go quickly, because then I'll do you first. 32 and 48. So can you tell me, Abe, what I know, and you don't have to preface with how much you don't know, but you.
I caught that. I was doing that. Yeah, I was like, oh, I'm doing this right now.
Yeah.
Keep on going.
I want you to run like your ass is on fire towards who you want to be. So what do you know about the 32 and the 48? What do you feel? Maybe know and feel are two different things, but what comes alive in you when these two numbers are mentioned?
Nothing. I need to pull up the keynote again.
Beautiful answer.
I don't remember them.
And for whatever reason, usually I have them right on all of the tip of my tongue, every single one of them. But today that's not happening. So.
Can you go back to the web mechanics?
All right.
So the 32, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Jonah, let's see. Thank you, everybody. Okay, so the dance. Let me see here. Earth is 32. Oh, now 32 is the other side of 50. So remember, 50 is the splenic, intuitive knowing of health and well-being of the tribe. 32 is the energy to let me admit. 32 is the sacral energy to preserve, to keep what is good, to graft the old to the new. This is what happens with trees, right? When a tree is unhealthy, we graft something healthy to it and it grows together in a much more healthy way. This is preservation. This is 32. Your anchoring, your fulcrum in relationships, the story of the movie of Abe is here to move from failure to
Fully.
veneration and back and forth. This is 32. This is your design earth. This is what you are here to anchor. So 32 is the story. Part of the arc of the hero's journey of Abe is going to be failing at preserving what might have been something good in your mind. This is part of the story. This is part of your relationship dharma that is going on. And probably the failure was due to thinking that you may have been inadequate. This is the 48. So the relationship spaces and places that come to you are inviting you out of your inadequacy into your fucking wisdom. This is the story, the hero's journey, the arc of your story is he's going to become a wise man, but only after he feels so inadequate and fails so many times that he uses his resourcefulness to preserve what needs to be held and moved forward. And this is when he becomes the wise man. So that's the Dharma dance between those two.
That's really cool. I can resonate with that. Yeah,
so then go ahead.
I feel the wisdom elements a lot more in the last few years, for sure.
And so what's really beautiful is the way that these play together. Now, I want you to imagine them as like an infinity of energy. You know, one does one thing and it goes to the other, and then it comes to the other, and then it goes to the other, and it comes to the other, and it goes to the other. And so these play together in this way. And so if we're in this inadequacy feeling, we are going to lose sight of our ability to be resourceful. We're going to fall into this feeling of failure. Which then will, when we feel like, oh, that sucks, we failed. All right, what do we bring forward into the next? That's when resourcefulness now picks up the frequency, and there's like this almost portal, if you will, open, or this energetic vortex that is available to you that allows that resourcefulness to turn into veneration. Holy shit, we may have done that wrong, but look at what we did do. And look at what we brought forward. How amazing is this? That's wisdom. And they play back and forth and back and forth and back and forth with each other. So, and this is part of your arc, your story. Nothing bad, wrong, or shameful about being in failure or inadequacy. Let's just arrive where we are and regulate our nervous system and say, okay, this is part of the story. This is why I came into this biology. Here we go.
Yeah, that's interesting because I relate to everything you just said as it relates to my relationship with others. And I think that's what I bring so powerfully to the coaching or consulting that I do, which is like, I feel all those words, like extrapolating all the wisdom that the person has picked up along the way, all my wisdom that I picked up pretty much. And I say the same shit to everybody. If you want to know why I just said what I said, ask me, I have a story for you. It's just always a failure story, or eventually a success story, but there's a reason for it. And I can extrapolate those things from people and then pull their Legos together and then help them build something new.
And this is your outer authority. And this is the way that you're designed to integrate yourself abundantly into the world around you. And then, so if we started going into your Jupiter placements, this is where these two things would then marry each other. And we would see how money is made through that interaction and relationship, or expansion is brought. You know, it's not always money, but expansion is brought, I should say.
Awesome. So what I'm hearing is you're going to do a bonus Jupiter session coming up.
I'm going to keep going. Yes. Actually, what's so funny is I was just sitting there looking at Jupiter the other night, and I have a beautiful telescope that I was able to finally get out after such a long time. And I wanted to have all my friends together and have a Jupiter session. And I want to
Good.
put my phone on Jupiter in my telescope so that we're all fucking looking at Jupiter right now and talking about our Jupiters and our placements and our, you know, whatever comes alive in us and the expansion of Jupiter, because it's here right now. Well, it's near the sun. It's maybe not conjunct anymore, but it's near and around. So it's really the expansion. I just think we can tap into it. So yes, the answer is yes.
Awesome. I heard Abe makes more money with Jupiter, and I'm like, Dallas.
And I want to know it.
I want to know. He jacked me up in May, so, or she, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jupiter is a beautiful ally of mine. Beautiful ally. So marry your Earth in line or gate 30.
Yes.
Your Moon in gate 24. If you would keynote those based on your experience using maybe 2 words, what would those 2 words be for 30?
So I'm gonna definitely need some prompting. I'm looking at my gene key little thing because I was following what you were saying. So 30 says rapture.
Yeah.
And then the 24 is silence. So I have a silent rapture. That's interesting.
Okay. I love, these are the highest expression words. And so let me play with these a little bit more.
Okay.
So I like to start at the shadow because we all think that we need to be better. So we identify more with our shadows than we do anything else. And I'm here to fucking change that. I would love for us to identify with our greatness more. So, but I like to start in the shadows because I want to bring you up there. So if we look at gate 30 and we look at it in its, say, lowest expression, and I don't say low as a measure of a judgment, you know, I'd want to keep prefacing that it's not a judgment, it's just I'm caged by language.
I can hear through that, so I'm good.
Okay. So desire, this is that burn that you don't do anything with. This is that you know, it's here and I want to bring it, and it causes this emotionality in some kind of way. It is, you know, the partner, it's the other side of 41. And so if we're talking about the beginning or the start of something, the pressure to start something new, well, what are we going to start? Well, I don't know. What do you want to start? This is 30, desire. And so and in desire without fuel, that can become chaotic and violent, maybe even this 30, I believe. And so this desire of 30 is quelched or satiated or moved forward in the spiral. Is through the gift of lightness. You'll find rapture through lightness. So what does rapture mean? Rapture means being able to recreate in this way, what's coming to me now. There's all kinds of ways we could talk about rapture, but in this way for you, because I know you, it is about being able to be elated at the experience of having moved from one thing into another thing. That's the satiation of that desire, right? That wanting to take something from here to here, or to create or to bring something new. And the melancholy that happens when you can't and you feel stuck and those kinds of things, right? And so 30 being your earth, 30 being the thing, the anchor of your fulcrum, is about this emotional wave, not collapsing the function at the high or the low, but allowing the experience to show you exactly what is happening. Become awakened to the moment of what is becoming and see where your desire fits there. And here's how 24 plays with that. 24 is addiction in the shadow expression. So when I am addicted to doing things the same way, my desire is never going to get off the ground. It's never going to be satiated. The pulse is it's never going to turn on. I'm never going to do anything to get from here to here. I'm just going to smolder with desire. Because I keep thinking the same way, that I couldn't, or I'm not good enough, or it couldn't, or there's so many, whatever you are, whatever that neurological programming is that keeps you bullied and stymied and just burning on the inside. You are here, this dharmic play that you are here to live within is the ability to be able to meet your desires in the what is. And how you do that is through silence, is through being able to be quiet enough to see what the fuck actually is. And to become
Never
awakened
what
to
it
your
seems to
desire
be.
within it. It's never, no, it's to awaken to your desire within the what is, not with what you think it should be. Because when you are still enough in the quietude, you are able then to either invent or bring. I mean, 24 is my personality sun. This is part of the cross of incarnation. This on the wheel, if you look at it, is only in 2 quarters. It's where the spiral jumps over. It is here to bring something new. And so in relationships, your dharmic dance is here to arrive where you are and allow your mind to not bring these concepts that have always been brought, but arrive here, see what is to be shown, and find your desire in there. Create that thing. This is your dharmic dance. Does that feel?
Thank you.
Does that feels?
Mm-hmm. Does.
Okay.
Thank you.
Do you have anything to share about it?
Mm.
Mm.
I don't think so right now. It is definitely stirring, but
Okay.
I'm good for right now. Appreciate your asking though.
You are very, very welcome. Thank you for letting us get into you all this way. It's very personal.
Appreciate you.
Mm-hmm. All right, dear pockets. I love this. I love that that Mary is here to be able to bring her desire, or see what she desires in the field and bring it to life. And you are the expression, the contribution. We've talked about this in our moments, but your value to the field is your contribution of what you desire, not being the one who just puts everything on the back burner. Like, yeah, I know I want this, but I have all of these children and I must do this and I must do that and I must do this. And I have this partner and these are the needs and blah, 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 blah. And my contribution is not really what I want it to be, but it'll do for now. I hate to let your cat out of the bag, but this is that story. This is that dance. And you being afraid of your contribution being what it is that they don't want it to be, right? What you desire to bring is different and is a something that hasn't necessarily been before. It's the next thing, what you desire to bring to the world. And the way that you are going to contribute to that desire to the world is through very heretical means. It breaks tradition, the way everybody has done things. This is the way you parent. This is the way you role model. And I've seen you and recognize your beautiful parenting in this way. You desire something different. And so your contribution to your family and the world around you is to be different. Your expression of yourself is different. You're showing up like many moms want to, but not many are brave enough for. And in all relationships, this is that Dharma dance. Okay, so if we got into the words, I mean, that one was easy for me because of how close we've become. But if we got into the actual keynotes, we could talk about, well, we've talked about this, mediocrity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of, all right, well, this is enough for now, or this is good enough for now, or, wearing black socks because they're practical instead of your fucking Spider-Woman socks because they're the best socks you've ever, which ones do you have on? Right? So it's about that expression, that being able to your style, your heretical, a non-traditional way of bringing your contribution, your new creation your new, and when I say creation, this emotional solar plexus is the future. It is the way that we get to learn to communicate with one another and be with one another in field, in the relating field. And so this 30, I believe, is such a big contribution to the start of this, you fulfilling and satiating your desires in the world is part of the coming of the being able to now speak to each other through this solar plexus. And I see that in your family and in your life. And so exquisiteness, right, and rapture play together. So this is being able to see the exquisiteness and be and express and contribute in a way, we know somebody who is mediocre. Let's all picture that person. Who's the mediocre person in your life? Who's the most stylish person in your life? Let's all bring that person to mind. Who's that most stylish person? But then there's those ones that are fucking exquisite. Those ones whose contributions made the fucking thing, brought the creme de la creme to the table. This is the way. This is the highest expression of this contribution, this individual contribution for all of us, for the benefit of all of us, because again, it's in the fifth line. And the trick to this is the comfort zone, is, every relationship is going to invite you into mediocrity. And you get to bring your style and exquisite, desirous nature into these relatings.
That feels true. And also like somewhere I can see, but I'm not there, but like feels like a direction for me.
And so we can't do anything wrong. We can't mess it up. We can't fuck it up, guys. So this is the story, right? It's the arc of the story. You are designed to, bring on mediocrity. Let me see it, right? And then you get to be excited about watching the movie of allowing your body to move into its exquisite nature or not, and then see what happens from there. I want to tie back in strategy and authority, because when we follow our body into the places and spaces that are for us, only then will we see this. What I'm talking about is not a doing, it's just a seeing.
Yeah. Lovely. Thank you.
Yay, you're welcome. Thank you for letting me get into the depths there.
Yeah.
Publicly.
Open book.
Yay. Okay, Nancy. I'm at 4:13. So I want to tell you that I do want to finish everyone that's here. Please feel free to stay, but I know I did only say an hour, so I want to honor your time if that's all you've given us, and tell you I love you and say goodbye. But I'm going to keep going with who's in the chat, so feel free to stay. Ding, ding, we got Nancy. Where'd you go? Here we are. Beautiful Nancy. Nancy is like the master poetic keynoter, in my opinion. Design Earth, she says. 23:2, self-defense or not. The balance between preservation versus defense of individual expression. Dance between open-minded acceptance or fighting against the rejection. And this is the Earth. Excuse me. They both say Design Earth, Nancy. I'm not sure which is which.
Okay. The first one is Earth, the second one is Moon. Sorry,
Is Moon. Okay, yeah. Perfect. Beautiful. So Design Moon is 52:2. Restraint, stillness for concern or not. When to be still in order to be free of others' pressure to act, and when to be selfishly still at the expense of others. Oh, It's, I mean, we can tell this beautiful story, the anchoring, you know, the fulcrum, the story, the challenge is for Nancy to rise up and balance between preserving her insights and defending against them, right? How do we keep them alive and viable and, in that dance between saying them, defending them? And it's all about timing, this timing. This is why 23 is about timing, because that's what it indicates the balance between, you know, the insights that the collective is are not ready to hear yet, versus being timing, being right enough to share your insights in a way that your defense also does preserve. It does not destroy your individual insight, because we're getting it anchored here. So then the moon, 52, restraint, every relationship, place, and space, your dharma is to have experiences in which you get to bring stillness when others' pressure to act is being imposed upon you. And when to be selfishly still at the expense of others. I think that this is beautiful. This at the expense of others is 100% a not self thing. Because when we have moved into the places and spaces and relationships with our bodies, we then, the pressure that is there to act and our selfishness will serve. The expense of others will be the thing that is supposed to have happened for them to complete their dharma. You see how all of these circles kind of work together, I believe. And so all relationships and spaces and places that Nancy moves into are going to invite her to be still enough to know the balance between and the timing, the proper timing, and what to say, what is anchored enough in her assimilation to be able to be spoken and defended while being preserved, and how to know that is through stillness, even selfish stillness. And so the challenge and being, and I know Nancy a bit and a little bit of stories, and Nancy, I'd love to hear you share if you wanted, but about the ability to sit still in the pressure of the life that you had lived, to be able to hear what is your individual truth, and then to be able to, you know, I feel like there's still in the process of assimilating it and sharing it and being recognized for that individual truth. In your relationships and spaces and places. Does anything come alive in you when I've said that, Nancy?
Yeah, the second line, to recognize both of them and the second line. So what is a second line kind of style of waiting? Yeah, how much is hidden and how much is here to be revealed? Is it safe to reveal who am I in relationship? Yeah.
Beautiful. And these being in the second line, they are all about relationships and being called out in that timing. And gosh, the people who get to know you, the people who not get to know you, like get to know you, but they get to know Nancy. Like these are the people, I believe, in the second line. That's 52 in the second line and 23 in the second line. It's so, I feel like it's what is the word I'm looking for? Like they get to have you. It's artisan. It's very few people get to experience the assimilation that came through Nancy's stillness, the personal truths that come through Nancy's stillness. So I love to call them out whenever I'm around you. So thanks for being around.
Thank you, Brandy.
Mm-hmm. Okay, I think that was everybody. Oh, thank you for being here. And yes, I would love to go through more of the planets as we see fit, but I think that's enough for now. I'm feeling full. Okay. You guys
Thank you.
enjoy. Oh, let's see. enjoy your time with your families. I am so grateful to be here, to be starting this new life. I just wanted to share in this new way with this community. I mean, we're not new together, but we're new together here. And I'm just want to share my appreciation and gratitude for us all being here.
Thank you.
Yes. Yes. Thank you. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.